Live.
Oh.
You just got seen doing stupid stuff. And y'all want to know why. Okay, now I gotta figure this out. Pop out. Y'all want to know why I laugh and then my eyes are so watery and
But you
stuff.
can't do this. I can only like that.
The man is crazy and he shows some stupid stuff. He was making crazy faces. I guarantee you. Did y'all see that? If y'all didn't, oh my goodness. Oh, he makes me laugh so hard till I start crying sometimes before we come on.
Oh.
All right, hello everybody.
Well, Wanda and I was like.
He said he was going to be an old person tonight. So.
I am.
Oh Lord. I'm having to stop him.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
No.
Nope. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Deidre is from State Line. I just
Yeah,
said
Deidre.
Mississippi.
I've been to State Line.
I probably have. I just don't know exactly.
Other
where
side of Laurel. Head out like Waynesboro. Head out that way.
Then I've been that way.
Yeah. Alberta, Canada. Good Lord, that's way up there.
Peaceful acres.
Yeah.
It's Ronald Reagan, y'all.
It's
Carolyn's
Ronald Reagan
right.
night, y'all.
Hey, Hills Mills. They have internet at the moment.
So do we.
Subject to change at any
It
moment.
could change at any moment.
All right, Shauna wants to know, do you have chickens? My sweet rooster is sick, either canker or pox.
This is too much.
We have lots of chickens.
We have lots of chickens, but we don't have no sick chickens.
We have 6 hens and 1 rooster.
Right now,
They're laying eggs.
They're laying eggs.
The rooster ain't.
I'm getting to wonder sometimes, because some days we get 6 eggs and some days we get 7. So I think he's a trans rooster. Remember, he was started off as a female.
Yeah, our rooster actually was a female, and then he became a rooster. A little girl that we got him from, she decided it was a female, and she was raising it as Scarlet. And when her mama realized that Scarlet was not a female, they couldn't have 2 roosters.
It became Scar.
So he became Scar.
Yep. Oh, Deerstead Family Farm got him a new tractor. Yeah, with a loader on it. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure it's a 4-wheel drive, though, because if it's a 2-wheel drive and you get on a hill and you've got something heavy in the bucket, you ain't got no brakes on the front wheels.
Jennifer is from North Mississippi. JT West. Leno's homemade strawberry. No,
Joey. No.
We going to Joey's house after live stream.
We're gonna fly up there right quick. Yeah.
I haven't had homemade strawberry ice cream in so long. I really think we ought to. There's a Matheson, Mississippi. Robin. Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting some Mississippi people up in here. My crooked little homestead. Danny, I planted my sweet potato slips in my greenhouse just over 35, and
they are doing good. That's what I'm talking about.
We've got a lot of pretty sweet potato slips. I added some water to them earlier.
Jamie, she says she's in Houma, Louisiana. You know, here at Deepsouth Homestead, this place was settled by the Houma Indians at one time.
Yeah,
I have a lot of artifacts from them that I found out there in the ground.
That's what we were told, that they were Homas anyways.
Yeah.
Several different type of tribes that moved off. Phyllis, question please. Can I mulch my sweet potato slips with leaves?
Yeah, you sure can.
Deerstead Family Farm wants to know what you think about the LS tractor. Don't get him started on the LS tractor.
I actually can't talk about the LS tractor.
We can't say anything. We got some videos.
Anything. We got videos, but we can't really talk about it.
Is Miss Lippy here, or is she tending Mr. Buddy? They probably getting a bath.
Yeah.
And when I say they, she's giving him a bath, but she gets one just about as much as he does.
She gets about as much of a bath. I can only imagine. Have we found any arrowheads at Pecan Grove? Nope. We have not found no arrowheads at Pecan Grove.
All we found is junk.
We found lots of junk from people over the past 50 to 100 years that's just threw off in the property. We have found that.
What did we find this week?
What did I find this week? That's a good question. What have I found?
Up at the pecan, no, not the pecan trees. It was I know where I'm thinking. I just got to think of them big oak trees. Remember we were there. I can't remember what we picked up this
Where
week.
we got the hay
Right out from it.
right out from it? Yeah.
What did we pick up? There was
We
a couple
picked
of
up
things.
so much
a piece
stuff.
Of wire.
There was a gear.
A gear.
There
That's
was
what
a
I was
gear.
thinking,
There was a gear in the dirt. We found a gear. We always find the nails and pieces of wire and broken glass. I mean, you always find that kind of stuff.
Yeah, wire everywhere. Most of the fences and stuff had failed, and then after Katrina, them cleaning up, moving trees, wire got pushed and shoved around.
Yeah.
You never know when you're gonna find something.
Glenn Green says, find any old bottles? Man, there we find old bottles everywhere all the time. I mean,
most everything's broken though.
well, no, there's lots of them.
There was a few that wasn't, but
over by one of the fences, I got it pushed up right now, and since it's rained,
There's
all
a
you see
lot.
is bottles. Just it looks like old cork top medicine bottles or something.
things like vanilla flavoring and different stuff, different flavorings came in bottles that were similar to that, I believe, in the day. They were fancy little bottles back then, but now they're not. They're plastic.
Oh, man. Let's see here. There's one that got the air turned down in here, and it's kind of cold.
It feels good. I'm trying to read.
Jamie says, I find Cherokee artifacts sometimes here in southeast Kentucky.
If you find a brain, mail it to 1600.
It won't do no good, Wild Turkey. I mean, if I was to mail it up there, only one brain amongst all that group ain't gonna do any good. I mean, you'd have to have about 800 of them if you find. You'd have to have 800 willing brains to go up there.
Yeah.
Let's
see where we're at.
Oh, let's see here.
Our woods is full of old farm. I wish ours had old farm.
I wish we
equipment.
had something like farm equipment to find, but I did find I found a planter. I found a bunch of plows. I found an old slip that you pull by mules.
Yeah. We found a few things.
There's been a few things around here. We found an old whiskey still stove.
Well, we didn't find.
Well, we found the stove
and the sink.
And the sink that ran all of it. Yeah.
Or
if we had Christy, if we had a metal detector, that thing would never stop going off.
There's no telling what's in here. We do know that in one place on the property that they buried, there was an old shed that had old wagons and stuff, and they were falling apart, so they said they dug a hole and buried all of it. We just don't know exactly where the hole was, but that was the story, that they just buried it all. So we know somewhere there's old wagon parts, probably all rotted.
Okay, Sheila 80s says, help, Danny. I have 25 sweet potato slips, so ordering from Vago. Which bed size or sizes to order? If you're going to be planting sweet potato in your Vago beds, I would suggest the 2.5 or the 10-in-1. Ain't that right? Wasn't it the 10-in-1 or 9-in-1?
It's called the 9-in-1 or the 10-in-1. I can't remember.
It's a 9.5 foot bed by 2.5 foot.
But you can do different configurations.
But for sweet potatoes, you're going to want them long ones.
Yeah. It's the ones we have in our high tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's the ones I have watermelons and cantaloupe in, and you'll see sweet potatoes going to do the same thing. It's taken over.
Let's see here. Evening, Jeff. Let's see here.
Danny, my son and I bought my husband a new Massey Ferguson
four-wheel drive with a bucket and a backhoe. We can't walk far, so now he can dig up my old cow manure pile and bring it
to the
new raised bed. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I love to see people making progress. You know, I mean, that's it's called a 9-in-1.
Well, somebody said 10-in-1.
Well,
I don't know. I'd have to look on the box.
We don't have no boxes here.
I don't remember. Do sweet potatoes need to be watered, or can they do on rainwater?
When you first plant them, for about the first 2 weeks, you need to water them about once a week, pretty regularly. And after that, you can just let the rain do it. Because me and Wanda grew some of the prettiest sweet potatoes one year and didn't get any rain.
Let's see. Whatever became of stewing hens, we used to sell a lot. Now you cannot use them as fryers. I know you cannot use them as fryers. Yeah, I remember that. Back in the day, there was such thing as a
Yeah.
stewing hen. It was just a overly sized hen that was not real tender, probably, and you
Yeah.
stewed it down. That's
Usually
what
it's
happens.
probably
in
an
most of
old
ours.
hen.
Yeah. Now they grow everything so fast till
Yeah.
everything's young.
Crystal wants to know, what is the best chicken breed for Central Texas? Well, Central Texas is a lot like us here as far as your zone. So we have really, really good luck. Now I'm gonna tell you the ISA Browns, they're a hybrid breed, but them jokers do really, really good for us.
Heidi Westgate says, I think 80 cucumber plants is a little much. A first-time gardener. I think so too.
Yeah.
Everybody in whatever state you're in is going to get a few cucumbers.
Oh.
Our Vagos are 17 inches tall,
Yes.
and somebody asked that.
Yes.
Let's see.
Are you dealing with a toothache?
No, I mean a piece of peppermint.
No, Miss Wanda's eating on a piece of candy like peppermint.
Trying to get it through with right quick. I know y'all can't smell my breath, but still. It's just kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
Danny, my new raised beds are made from old vinyl siding. The beds are looking amazing. Yeah, you can use about
Yeah.
anything to make a bed.
Yeah.
If you've got some extra stuff laying around. Nanny Joy
Oh, hold
says,
on.
"Thank you
You're
for
skipping
everybody."
so many of them here.
I'm just reading what I see. Thank you for the prayers for Buddy.
Okay. Yeah, we've been praying for him, Nanny. Catherine says, is there such thing as having too many worms in your garden? I have so many. No, you cannot have too many worms in your garden. That is for sure.
I see a lot of pickles in her future.
Oh, lots of pickles, lots of pickles.
All right, Nadia, I'm a little late. So sad. My eggplant was doing great, and all of a sudden the plant is dying. Wow.
Wow, I mean,
Ours is still doing
ours
good.
is still doing good.
We've harvested 3 maybe eggplants, and they're just loaded. But the worms did get in them, but they didn't do a lot of damage before Danny found them.
Raw Food Writer says, did you ever have to get rid of minor bees? They don't really sting, but they are so many and they dig holes. Actually, we used to put a box up for them because they're really good, about getting rid of predators and stuff like that. We haven't had problems with them.
Roger Hudson wants to know, can he put pine needles around tomatoes?
You can, but it depends on where you live at. If you do that in the deep south, you're gonna end up with fire ants all around everything, because fire ants love to build ant beds up in pine straw.
All right. Anessa asked, I am new to gardening. What do I need to put in the dirt so my tomatoes do good?
Well, Anessa, that depends on what kind of soil you have. I mean, you need to do a soil test, but as a rule of thumb, you're gonna want to put some calcium and a little bit of nitrogen in there. But you definitely need some lime, because if you don't, you're going to have blossom end rot if you don't get the calcium and stuff.
I had to reread this one. RCJO2 says, I swear I'm going to buy an air dancer for the deer. And I was like, an air dancer? But you know those things that flop around?
Yeah.
Like the kind of the flopping you were
Yeah.
doing when we started? That would keep them out for a while. I tried your oatmeal cookie recipe from your cookbook. My husband loves them. Great.
That's good. Is your personal beef cattle considered choice grade? Yes, they're Dexters. Dexters have probably, other than the and really the other breed is not, the Watusi's really not they're really not a Wagyu. I'm sorry, the Wagyu probably is not true, because they actually are bred in Japan, the actual true ones. But the Dexter is the next best one for marbling inside the meat. We love ours.
Oh yeah, the meat is absolutely fantastic.
The meat's astounding in it.
What can I do? What can I use to kill aphids? That's Texas Chopper.
Oh, usually if you have too many aphids, you got too much nitrogen going on. But to kill them, you can just take a water hose and you can spray them off. I mean, that's just what we do.
Can you put regular straw under tomatoes? That's Marie.
It depends on where the straw come from, because lots of straw has been sprayed with Roundup or to kill the field down, or it's called burning the field off before they actually harvest it. And then you end up with Roundup in your bed and your plants die from it. So be careful about the straw that you get.
Patty at Southern Blessed Homestead said they have been without power for 26 hours and it just came back on. I knew I saw on Facebook y'all were out of power, but y'all must have had some storms come through there.
They did. I remember I told you that 33rd parallel.
It went through there?
That 33rd parallel through his country this year is going to be horrendous. I mean, it's going to be a roller coaster all year.
Thank you, guys. I did not get a haircut. I just trimmed on it some and took a bath, and it looks weird. I will get a haircut at some point.
Milk and Honey Heritage Farm says we love our Dexter beef. I mean, we literally, we butcher ours when they're between around 6 to 7 months old, and the meat is fantastic. I'm gonna tell you, we have no complaints.
Done some at 9, 10 months.
We have done some a little bit over.
But as long as they're under a year old, man, it is very tender.
Ronald Hagan says, Danny, that Wagyu beef is really marbled. If it's a true Wagyu, the problem with that I have is you have to understand the history of the Wagyu. The Wagyu beef were bred in Japan from about 5 or 6 different breeds of cattle, and they're actually put in a pen in Japan, and they're fed a special diet 3 times a day, every day of their life. And I dare say that there's any Wagyu beef in the United States that's true, because Japan sold America a few Wagyu beef cattle in the beginning, and then they realized that they were going to lose their beef cattle brand that they created to other countries, so they pulled the market and would not sell the United States any more Wagyu beef cattle after that. And what we have over here now is probably a Wagyu crossed with an F1 Angus or something other to that nature, and which makes it really not a true Wagyu. Now there may be a few true ones over here because Japan originally sold us a few in the beginning, but I dare say there's a lot of true ones that's actually fed out the way they feed them in Japan.
All right, Howard and Renee. Their Danny corn is very dark green and healthy, but no ears yet. Already tasseling at about 4 foot. Did I do something wrong?
Ours is just starting to tassel, and it's about 9 to 10 feet tall. You don't see any ears right up front. You see the tasseling first, and then you'll see the little tiny silks begin to come out right where the leaf goes onto the corn at. You'll see the little silk starting to pop out there.
But she's saying it's only 4 foot tall, so maybe not the same nutrition or the same soil that Danny
it could be. Yeah, it all depends on how much fertilizer you put to it. You know, I mean, I put around.
Danny pours it to it.
I probably put around 600 pounds of fertilizer to an acre. You know, and I dump it to it because my corn can take it. You know, that's one thing about the Danny corn; it can take it.
Grand T says, what eats whole okra plants? I planted seeds, and a week after I transplanted my seedlings, they're gone.
Deer love okra. Deer will mow it down to the ground. I mean, so I mean, look around and see if you see any deer tracks, and if not, you might have mole crickets biting it off at the ground if it's little.
They're saying it's sweet corn. It's not Danny corn. So sweet corn doesn't get that tall.
Oh yeah, that's.
And you're just waiting on corn.
Yeah, if it's not Danny corn and it's sweet corn, that's perfectly normal. Sweet corn don't get over that tall.
Plus, you get the tassels, then the corn starts coming on. So you're good.
You're good. You're good to go.
They said, do you have any experience with mimosa for consuming? We have a gigantic mimosa tree.
Yeah, mimosa. Lots of people make a tea out of the mimosa flower because it has a lot of calming agents to it. We don't.
Doctors.
I'm not a doctor, and I don't prescribe that. But we have the trees here on our property, big ones, and we got little trees coming up about 100 everywhere, and I can't keep them cut down. I actually
They're
think about.
very evasive
Yeah.
once the wind starts taking those things. But we have that huge one in the backyard.
Yeah.
Then at Pecan Grove found one, and Danny wants to take it down.
I want to cut that sucker down so bad because I hate them things
I
with
didn't
a passion.
even realize it was there till this week. I mean, I knew it.
If
but
I
hadn't
hadn't
paid
told her, I could have cut it down and she'd have never known.
Yeah, but now you can't. So.
Yeah.
Unless it's really, really, really in the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see here.
Where are we at? I done lost it. Lady Hammer says the hailstorm and 90-mile-per-hour straight winds really bad for her garden. Wow. Yeah,
that would do it.
What can we do about the cicadas making apple tree leaves turn brown?
I doubt it's cicadas making the apple leaf turn brown. Usually when apple leaf, but it may die and it may not die. I don't know.
It started buffering for a second. I don't think we're back on.
Carolyn said her mimosa blooms calm her down just by looking at them.
I love to look at them. And it reminds me of my childhood. In our backyard at home, we had a huge mimosa tree that we put a swing in, and it went up big, and then it V'd, and then the limb that went out had the swing on it, and we'd swing and stuff. I just like things from that reminds me of home back then. JT West says, are the pecan trees at Pecan Grove voluntary or planted?
Actually, it's both, Joey. One section of the property here has planted ones on it, and then the other 40 acres that goes along with it are they just naturally come up from from the pecans. Some of the neighbors have pecan trees around here, and I guess the crows, since Katrina, planted most of the pecan trees over at Pecan Grove. I mean, I don't know, but the ones that are in rows up on one part of the property, they were planted. I remember when the man planted them. I talked to his son about it, and actually that's where I broke my neck one time, helping the old man. Linda says, I started picking peaches a couple of days ago. They're yummy. We've actually already harvested one of our whole trees of peaches.
Wasn't a lot on it, and they were small, but I made a peach cobbler. I made some peach juice, and what else? And we ate some fresh. And we still got, I think, 3 on the cabinet.
Yeah, there's still 3 sitting yonder on the countertop. There sure is. I pulled them off the other day.
We have been doing blueberries.
Oh, blueberries. Oh, my word, guys.
I didn't even go over there today, and I've got to pick beans in the morning, and I know when I go tomorrow, we're going to have a lot.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot.
We've been picking at least 5 pounds at a time.
5 gallons.
5 gallons.
We pick 5 gallons every time we go out in the yard to pick.
And that don't even get over them.
That don't even count the ones that's over at Pecan Grove. I mean, the ones at Pecan Grove are just now starting to get ready, too. And over here at Deepsouth Homestead, these trees are black with berries, and we've already filled up half of one deep freeze. And I told her, I said, I don't even know we can't even give the things away.
Yeah. What should I feed my elderberry bush? I don't know.
Elderberries usually don't have to be fed anything.
They usually do pretty good in the wild.
Yeah, they do really well.
Danny found another mulberry tree. Where was that? You were putting up a fence and you said there's a mulberry at Pecan Grove.
Me?
Yeah, we found a mulberry. We were looking, you were talking about putting up that extra fence that we're fixing to put up. And you said, I did not know this mulberry.
I said I found extra cedar trees.
No, there's a mulberry. This was last week before we
yeah. That's it, but it's not on our property. It's on a neighbor's property.
Okay. It's a neighbor.
It's in the edge of a neighbor's field.
Okay, it's a neighbor's property.
It's on the neighbor's property. I just happened to look up and seen. I was like, wow, there's a mulberry tree. That thing's huge. You know, it's like 30 feet tall.
Jan says she planted some strawberries in her GreenStalk. I actually harvested some out of a GreenStalk today. And I harvested one out of the, the Vago beds. Yeah, ours is starting to make again. They've already made one time. And the ones in the high tunnel are putting on blooms again. So I think ours are ever bearing, so they bear back to back lots of times.
Heidi says, "Looks like you planted too many blueberries." Well,
There's a story behind
there's a story
that.
behind that. We planted blueberries here at Deepsouth Homestead. We planted 50 trees because we figured some would die. But then when we purchased Pecan Grove, there's probably close to 50 trees over at Pecan Grove altogether.
Well, the
So
story is his mom had 100 trees. I'm talking trees. They were 8 to 9 foot tall trees. You couldn't reach. Danny and
Yeah.
I couldn't reach around them, and they produced just enormously.
enormous amounts of berries.
Danny and I picked for the market when we first married because we didn't have a whole lot of money and we needed money. So we had a broker, and for 3 years, I know, we picked each summer for 6 weeks. And lots of times we picked anywhere from 15 to 25 gallons a day.
A day. Yeah.
And sold them to the broker. That paid our taxes, that paid our power bill for the year, it paid anything we needed pretty much for the year. And so our thought was, if we planted them 50 trees, his mama had 100, if we planted 50 on our property, that we would have an income to sell to brokers. Little did we know that we wasn't thinking we probably couldn't give the things away.
Yeah.
And that everybody and his brother at that time was going into blueberries here in South Mississippi. If you look anywhere, everybody's got blueberries now. So they've got a field of blueberries. Everybody had the same idea. So, yeah, it's one of those, we got a lot of trees.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Let's see here. Danny, would it work if I took a small branch off of a mulberry tree to root so I can really do a lot of fertilizing on our grapes?
You know how to give it a minute.
We don't really do a lot of fertilizing on our grapes. We fertilize them early in the spring when they first start out, and after that we don't really do much to them. I mean, when you got good rich soil in the pots where they're at, you don't really have to do much because we put earthworms in there with them, and the earthworms make worm castings, and the worm castings the plant feeds off of it.
Okay, Oklahoma, they're having some bad weather going through there right now.
Yeah, I saw the storms
do need
up
to
there.
remember them. Do you grow anything in your high tunnel right now? I'm in zone 8 in North Carolina. Yeah, at Pecan Grove we have videos of the new high tunnel over there. It is loaded with stuff. You have to go over to Pecan Grove.
You got to go to Pecan Grove if you're going to watch our videos.
Here at Deep South, we've got sweet potatoes and okra. Yeah. And in Danny's, it's got blackberries and grapes.
Yeah, blackberries and seedless grapes.
Yeah. White
seedless grapes.
So, but at Pecan Grove, everything. It's just amazing. It's doing fantastic.
Sheila 80 says, "What thickness shade cloth do you suggest? 60? No, in zone 8 we have learned that 40% has worked really well for us. I mean, we cannot complain.
Talk about the mulberry tree branch. It kicked out right quick. Whatever you said about that. The root.
Yeah, as long as you know how to root them, the mulberry branches, get you some rooting hormone, and stick that sucker down in some good damp soil and keep it moist, and it should work. Either that or air graft it. Now you can go online. I ain't got time to talk about air grafting, but you can go online and learn how to air graft. And if you start air grafting, then that's guaranteed. Your tree will have berries on it next year if you air graft it.
All right, Miss Lippy made it in, so Buddy must be through with his bath and relaxing. Y'all, he's doing amazing. He's just bouncing back really, really good, keeping his vitals up, out walking a little.
Yeah.
They doing really, really good. Have you ever grown strawberries in your GreenStalk? I have them right now. I just said that a while ago. We have
Wanda harvested some out of the GreenStalk today.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Our shade cloth is 40%, so I don't know zone 7.
40% seems to work well all the way across the South, what I've been told.
All right. then they're saying the ads kick in. See, the ads are something that we can't control.
Yeah, we have no
I thought I
control.
had taken them out. I thought there was a place I could go in and put it that limited ads on lives. It don't matter. They just throw so many in there for whatever.
Deerstead Family Farm says, do you plan on putting in a pond at Pecan Grove? We have videos showing our pond being dug at Pecan Grove. We have a pond at Pecan Grove that's stocked with huge catfish now.
What it is, when he says that, if like your name is Susie Q, if your name is Susie Q, if I wanted to tag her, I'd put @ sign Susie Q. If you're gonna tag Pecan Grove, type in @Pecan Grove MS because we're in Mississippi. But you can just type Pecan Grove in the search bar, and since we have a lot of videos, they will pop up, I think. Now, for a while, it wouldn't pop up because we weren't in an algorithm, but I think now it's popping up. So, Miss Lippy can put a link up to Pecan Grove, so y'all can go from there.
Blessings always says, is there a mulberry bush or just tree? Mine is short, squat, and trunk only about 2 foot off the ground. I've only seen mulberry trees. I've never seen a mulberry bush, to be honest with you. All of ours are trees. I mean, they come up and now if you don't trim them up, yeah, they'll just make all kind of limbs at the ground and come up like a bush. But you got to pick you a main leader out and like a fig tree or anything else and train it.
Yes, I did get the same Presto canner that Miss Lippy has, and I am liking it. I really do.
Ronald says, what water filter do you recommend for drinking? We use the Alexa Pure to filter our water with. Of course, now we have wells here. We don't have to filter our water. Our well water is good water. But if I had to filter my water like we did at the cabin, we used Alexa Pure to do it.
Yeah. Will mayhaws grow in South Carolina? That's just...
Yeah, a mayhaw should grow in South Carolina, but it's going to be in a wet spot. They're not going to grow out on a hill. Now, my understanding is they have a variety now that will grow on a hill, but most of your mayhaws grow in the river swamps, so it needs to be closer to where there's a damp place out on the property.
Laura wants to know, is there a difference between a mulberry and a Juneberry?
Yes, a Juneberry and a mulberry are two different trees altogether.
Google it and look at the pictures, the images, and you'll see. Miss Lippy put up the water filtration link. So.
Jamie says, how far is Pecan Grove from Deepsouth? It's less than an hour's drive, I can tell you that.
They're asking Miss Lippy, did she lighten up on the powder? She put too much powder in the stockings that she had to put on Mr. Buddy, and every time he stomped his foot, powder came out the...
Yeah.
Y'all had to go watch her videos.
Lisa King says, have you guys had any luck growing Roma tomatoes? Yeah, we used to grow them. Several years ago, we grew a lot of Roma tomatoes.
Yeah. Buddy said no more powder.
No more powder.
So what you been doing? They finished our, no, they hadn't quite finished.
They still haven't finished the building. They keep coming back because I keep making them come back.
Few little things. It's not major, but few little things that they have to do. But the building is almost 100%.
Yeah.
And Mr. Danny's been...
picky.
No, putting up, well, that too.
I've been picky.
Putting up the first floor, or the second floor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I started the beam system in it for where I'm going to be putting my mechanic tools over there at. I haven't had much time to work on it. Actually, I've been trying to put up field fencing, so we got another paddock for cattle. And guys, I'm going to tell you what, it's 100 and something degree heat index here every day, and it's killing me. I mean, I can't work out in it during the day. When it gets to be really, really hot during the day, I go into the shop, turn the big fan. I got a huge fan in there. I turn it on, and I try to do a little woodwork in there, trying to build some of my structure up on the inside of it, walls and stuff like that. But even at that, I have to stop every few minutes and get something to drink because it's just so cotton picking hot here. And dry, it is dry
I had
and
to water everything.
hot.
Darlene, I did not get any new things in the mail. If somebody sent something, I have not been to the post office in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we
so
haven't been. We haven't been to the post office in 2 weeks. That's right.
I really haven't.
We don't. We try not to go to town if we don't have to, because that's too easy for me. Because of who I am, I can pick a phone up, and I can have it sitting here on my doorsteps in just a little while. You know, so I don't
and
really.
I order online a lot, and so we don't go to town that much, and I just forget. And then when we do, I forget the post office because I don't have to take packages anymore. I have the little label printer, and I print everything from Etsy myself. And my lady that picks up our mail or delivers our mail picks up my stuff, so I don't have to worry too much.
Cul-de-sac Grocery Garden says, are you going to put a shade cloth on a high tunnel at Pecan Grove? We have a video showing where we've already put it on there at Pecan Grove. So it's got a 40% shade cloth on it already.
Pete wants to know favorite books you read for fun. Novels? I used to read a lot, and I read a lot of novels. I liked historical novels. Then I liked kind of detective type stories, Christian romance, Christian suspense, things like that. What do you like to read for fun? He don't read for fun.
I don't read for fun. If I read, it's for education. I don't believe in having fun. Life is
I haven't read in so
too
long.
short to live for fun.
I haven't hardly picked a book up in many years. It's if I do, it's something that I need to know, and I pick it up and read through it real quick on that. Doug and Stacy. Fabio. What is Fabio?
It's a bean, I guess. No, Fabio is Fabio is the guy on TV that's got the long.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Hair.
Is that what you're doing, Doug? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I think of when I think of Fabio, the guy.
Why doesn't the mail carrier deliver your packages? Most of our packages go to our post office box.
We have a
don't
PO
have things
box.
that come to our house.
We don't have stuff sent to our home.
We don't put our address out there for y'all to send stuff to our house. Now, we have a few people that know our address, and they do send things, but it's people we've been in contact with. For the most part, everything goes to our P.O. box. How do you get rid of aphids on tomato plants?
We don't have a problem with aphids on tomato plants to have to deal with them, so I don't know how to really answer that.
Oh, he's talking about the novels. He was laughing at the
Bingo, the novels. Fabio, Fabio.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Can I use any Can I use
DE for armyworms in my soil? DE will work on any soft-bodied insect, as long as it don't get wet.
Yeah, Joe Mama said reading novels is a luxury these days, but yeah, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I sit down to read sometimes, and I'll pick up whatever we have around, but 5 minutes in, I'm thinking of something. I'm like, I need to do this, I need to do that.
Yeah, we have too much to do right now to be sitting down reading. When I
sit down, I want a cup of coffee and something to snack on, or I'll pick up and glance at our videos to see what the comments are, which Danny answers 90% of comments. I don't.
Usually I answer all the comments, and if I'm ever, if I'm not in some kind of meeting, or I'm not out at daylight busting my tail.
He's watching something that makes him laugh.
I'm watching something. If I'm gonna watch something, I watch something that'll make me laugh for a few minutes. To because remember porch time last week, I told you about the mental overload. I'm learning that when I start having one of those mental overloads after a meeting or something like that, I get this mental overload, and I'll go watch something funny to kind of dissipate that thought train for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the Foxfire books, and Danny will pick those up sometimes and read on one of them because he has the whole set now.
Darlene says, please get a chance to go fishing with the grandkids. When the grandkids come, my
that-
grandkids are great fishermen. They don't need me to help them. I mean, they
About what 2 weeks
2 weeks ago they went fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny always comes over there and stuff and sits around for a while. But yeah, we both go out there when they come, and they love fishing. And I ain't gonna lie, my oldest daughter, she has her own pond. Her kids
Yeah.
fish all the time. Plus, they love swimming and stuff, and they have a pool, and then they swim in the pond. But my youngest daughter, she comes out here and fishes. Every time she comes, the kids fish. They love it.
Yeah. Anessa says, Mr. Danny, am I also need lime on peppers too? Yes, you need lime on anything except potatoes. Not sweet potatoes, but Irish potatoes and blueberries and azaleas and stuff like that. But most everything else needs lime.
Hey, Miss Betsy. She says she usually has to watch us on Sunday mornings, but she did catch us first time tonight.
All right.
Amelia says, I watch the old 40s, 50s musicals and comedies for mental health. Yeah, you go back and watch. I was watching the Newlywed Game earlier. I was laughing because I used to watch it as a kid, and I'm telling you what, those old shows, sometimes it's pretty fun. So I pick old things to kind of watch sometimes. Let's see.
Let's see where we at. Yeah.
Our first live tonight, that's Crystal Rocks. Crystal Rock. Darlene said, learn the hard way, don't use bare hands to spread lime. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do.
It out. It dries
It'll
your
dry
hands
your hands out. I do, but my hands are like leather anyway. I mean, you can see my hands are just like leather on the inside. I don't even have no feeling in them no more hardly.
Mary Beth says she watched the Three Stooges. Now, what else we've been doing? Oh, I've been canning beans. Now, y'all asked about my new canner. I've used it not every day this week, but I've used it
just about every day this week.
3 days this week, I know.
Yeah.
And I did do some water bath, and I water bath pickles, and it did amazing with the water bath. As long as you do pints, you can't do quarts. I did beans. I think I've done 3 different sets of beans, and all of them sealed but one. I had one that didn't seal, and I tried checking the jar and stuff, but I don't like these new, I say I don't know how new these lids are, because I've bought lids for years.
We've bought lids for so many years.
I don't know that they're new or old.
Yeah, well, you'll know because they have 18 months. They're good for 18 months.
Yeah, but I don't know which one I used on that. And so one did not seal. So I've canned using the canner, maybe 5 times, 6
yeah.
altogether. And out of all of it, I've had one that did not seal. So I think that's pretty good.
Let's see. Laura says, Danny, can I use 20-20-20 mixed in my soil before I plant my Danny corn? Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, it'll love it. I promise you.
Where are we at?
I'll just hit the scroll it. It's going to jump. There you go.
All right.
Gene Blair says, I got rid of my TV. Well, we got rid of ours years ago.
But I have done sweet potatoes freeze-dried. I like them shredded and freeze-dried, or I go ahead and cook them and mash them and then freeze-dry them, and they're ready to make Danny's dessert. And what else have we done? I think that's about it. That's my 2 favorite ways.
Pete R says, sorry, but got to upgrade your internet devices. It's buffering for you guys. I think mine works fine. We have 2 new upgrades. We have Starlink and we have Pearlcom, pushing tons of megabytes per minute.
And we still buffer.
And we still buffer. We have 2 of the latest things on the market. We get 100 something megs, and still it will buffer on us. There is nothing we can do about it. And the buffering with Starlink is because of what's going on with the solar flares in outer space out there, and there ain't nothing anybody can do about that.
Nadia said she had problems with some of the ball lids not sealing. Yeah. Let's see, I know it's going to jump. It did.
Let's see here. Some people say they're not buffering. Some people say they are. I'm telling you, ours tells us every so often we'll have a little bit of a buffer for about a second, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, can you can carrots in the quart sizes in that
Yes.
canner? And yes, you can.
As long as you're pressure canning, you can pressure can quarts because you only put 3 quarts of water in there to pressure can. But when you water bath, you have to go at around an inch above the jar, and there's not enough room in this canner to go an inch above a quart jar. So you can only water bath can pints and half pints. But I can pressure can quarts all day long. It's not a big problem. And it is a Presto, I don't remember the other name, but it's called Presto something.
Double A says it's an antenna position problem or not being wired into the router. We cannot wire into our routers directly.
I hadn't looked at
We don't have it. Our routers don't have an Ethernet cable placed in them. They're totally wireless. Everything now is wireless. If you've got one that has to have an Ethernet cable in it, you have old technology.
Yeah, Mississippi, somebody said they had it. Starlink said it could be hit and miss. It's mainly because of, like where we're at. Do I blanch my English peas before canning? No.
No, we do not.
Where we at?
Guys, a lot of what's going on has to do with the solar flares. It has nothing to do with what you have as a...
It's doing it again. Sometimes it could simply be a jar or something like that. Nana City says, my digital pressure canner is melting the cord. I've had it for 3 years. Not sure if it's because I ran it back to back. It's possible.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah, or your electricity in your house may be having an issue.
When
with
you
that.
run one of these digital pressure canners, it can be the only thing on that circuit because it pulls around 1,400 and something watts.
Yeah.
You can't. Wanda tried to run ours with something else and it's tripped a breaker. You cannot run it with anything else. It needs to be on a dedicated circuit.
Yeah, it does. At least it's on. Don't have several things plugged in when you're running it. That runs. And if you don't know your house, like Danny wired our house.
Yeah.
He knows what's on run together.
I know where
on one thing.
every one of them.
So he told me what I could plug it into and not plug anything else in the rest of the outlets.
Yeah.
So I know not to do that.
Because all houses are wired with number 12 wire, and a number 12 wire is only good for about 1,600 watts to 1,800 watts, and that thing's pulling 1,400, so you can't really run much of anything else on it safely.
Yeah. Pete wants to know anyone that's eaten or harvested chestnuts. Yeah, we have a couple of trees.
Yeah.
And they produced, a few the first year, and then that was it. And I don't think they've ever produced again. I had a friend send us some from Florida, and I love chestnuts. They're awesome.
Carolyn says magnetic storms, and they're going to get worse. That is correct. We have about 20 something more, or right around 20 more solar flares to go before we actually start getting a break, and they're projected to be even worse than the ones we've had.
All right, Darlene says, I so enjoy the comments and the great words of wisdom. Thank you.
Lori wants to know, do you like the digital canner?
I do. So far, like I've said, I've only been using it a couple of weeks. I've had no issues. It's not noisy. You don't hear that
jiggling, chattering noise.
Yeah, and so far it has worked fantastic. I don't have to sit and watch it. I did the first couple of times just making sure I did everything right. But now I walk by and look and see how much time's left and go on about my business and stuff. It does its own thing and it shuts off, and So far, no issues except that one, and I don't know why one didn't, but you have that off and on. So it's not the canner's fault. It's probably the canner, me.
Okay. Does the ground bus need to be connected to a rod outside? It depends on how your house is wired up. Any panel, any main panel or sub panel needs to have its own ground rods. Or if you have like a service disconnect or anything like that, it's really a good idea to have a ground rod for any of that stuff, because the more grounding you have, the better off you are. Let me put it that way. Danny, when is the best time to prune a fig tree? That would be in the dead of winter. Oh.
Mudcat says the only issue with their digital canners, I can't fit very much into it. I don't do a lot at one time, so I go into pints for the most part, so I do 8 pints at a time. My other canner only held 9, so I'm not out that much, and so 8 is fine for me. And so far, what I've been picking, usually I end up with 8 pints and a little bit left over for us to eat fresh, so it's been working out really good. And if you're doing quarts, it does 5 quarts instead of 7, so you're losing 2 there.
Tamara says, how many ground rods for your high tunnel? We don't have any ground rods in the high tunnel because every pipe's driven into the ground. The high tunnel itself is a ground rod, so we don't have to have any in the high tunnel.
I do not, Debbie, I do not use a canner on my glass top stove that we have now. The one Danny had when I married him, yes, I used to use my canner on it all the time. It was the old-fashioned kind. The new ones, they have control switches in them. When that gets very hot, it automatically kicks off. So your pressure on the stove will go up and down. And so it doesn't hold as steady like it should. Sometimes they'll shut off and stay off for a minute or two before they'll let you kick them back on. So no, I do not use pressure canner. I use the outdoor canning kitchen and use gas if I'm going to use my canner.
Okay, I found Pecan Grove tonight on YouTube, Ronald says. Go check it out, Ronald. I mean, that's where most of our videos are at now. So if y'all want to watch anything that we're doing, it's all on Pecan Grove. The only thing we have on Deepsouth right now is an occasional video, and then our Saturday Night Lives and Porch Time.
Any plans for futures with Hills Mills? Always.
We always have plans with Mr. Mickey and Miss Kathy. There's always a plan there.
There's probably going to be something in the future. Just hang on.
Let's see.
Some said we're really buffering a lot. We haven't seen anything in the last little while, but it was to start with.
My pepper, let's see, this is Pamela. It says, my pepper plant leaves are turning yellow because of rain. We have colder temperatures coming. Will they recover? Well, peppers are pretty hardy plants. It depends on how long it stays cool, because once a pepper plant gets up and gets going, it really needs heat to bear good. So it could or could not. That's a kind of a hard call to make.
All right.
Okay. Where are we at here?
All right. So Child of God says, well, never mind my canner question. Have a glass top. Guess won't can this year. Like I said, even the electric stoves with the burners, the eyes, they've got to where they switch off too. Because one of my new stoves that I had problems with, the one reason I went back to glass top was those eyes would just kick off.
Yeah.
And they have these safety switches in them, and you can't can on something that you can't be consistent with. And even the gas stove had a thing on it that if it gets too hot, it would kick off. And we're like, okay, what do we do to take this thing off? You know? So you have to watch even gas stoves nowadays, that they're putting them on them too.
Okay, Dog Mama says, why are my tomato plants curling at the top? Well, Dog Mama, please tell me that you did not use any animal manure or any hay or straw or anything like that around your plants, because when tomato plant leaves curl at the top, especially if they curl up,
or black cow,
or anything like that,
anything with animal manure,
you could possibly have a Grazon Remedy 2,4-D issue in your soil, or Roundup issue in your soil. And if you do, the only way to control that, honestly, after talking to Dow Chemical Company, is to dig the soil up and just get new soil.
Why did I choose electric over gas? Danny already had electric.
Yeah.
And it worked just fine and dandy. And the oven went out, and that was the second time in 20 years. The stove was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And so he said, I'm not replacing it again. Let's just get a new stove. Well, I decided I wanted the one with the burners, the eyes. So we went and got one of those, and we had nothing but problems for about 6, 7, 8 months. I'd done called them twice on it, and so we decided, get rid of that one. Let's go back to the glass top. And when we did, we found out it does the same thing. So, you know.
Okay, Cornbread says, any chance that you could possibly show JT West how to get his tractor out of first gear? Well, if you've ever plowed the way Joey and I plow, first gear is the only gear you want to be in when you're plowing or cultivating. Now, I will say Joey's last video, he used the Super A.
Did he hit second?
And he was running pretty fast with that one. And I was a little shocked that he was going that fast, because when you're fertilizing and plowing or cultivating, you don't want to go fast. You want to take it easy when you go down through there. Now, if you're just disking a field, or you're subsoiling a field or anything like that, those old tractors aren't made to run in second gear because it lugs the engine too hard. They do best in first gear.
She says her tomato plants are curling downward at the top, so I don't know. And somebody said, would rabbit manure curl tomato leaves?
Rabbit manure, unless you're feeding them an awful lot of alfalfa, and a lot of alfalfa now is Roundup ready, rabbit manure should be fine, unless you're just feeding them an awful lot of alfalfa. Gene Blair says, I heard the powers that want to get rid of gas lines in homes. Gene, I could go into deep things about this gas issue, especially New York City banning gas stoves by, 2025 or something like that. The reasoning behind all that is the gas lines under New York City are so old, and they do not know where they're at. They can't get to them to fix them if they could, and did know. It's a mess and a hazard for New York City. That's one reason they're banning it. And there's other states that's just jumping on board, just because.
Annette says, pray for Mr. Tom at Deepsouth, Bama. He has prostate cancer.
Yes, I knew that Mr. Tom had prostate cancer.
We will remember him in prayers tonight. Cornbread Leno said she has your number Monday night.
What?
Cornbread Leno said she has your number Monday night. I guess he's talking to you.
Oh.
They want to ban them statewide. Yeah.
Yeah. The leaves are curling down, Lori said. Sometimes when the leaves curl downward, it's an issue that they're trying to protect themselves from the heat. A leaf, a lot of times, will do that. They'll curl downward to protect themselves from the heat on a plant, especially in the very top of a plant.
Yeah. I noticed one of ours, the whole tomato plant's beautiful and green, but one leaf had where the sun had bleached it. Just one leaf out of the whole thing. And I'm like, how is that possible? How does the sun radiate down and only one leaf gets it? That should tell you there's beams coming off the sun at different spots for it to do that.
Yeah.
Daddy just doesn't like gas.
I don't like gas in a house, period. I've seen, being in the construction business, I have seen so many homes that I have worked on that has burnt because of gas stoves and gas hot water heaters. And I just, as a rule of thumb, I don't want gas in my house. You know, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with it. I know that a lot of the new ones have a lot of new sniffers on them and stuff like that. So if they have a problem, they will shut down. But guys, in my line of work, I worked on too many homes that had been burnt because of gas.
Somebody said something about the washing machines. Yeah, the washing machines are very different. They don't do that shaking like
Right.
they used to. But mine makes an odd noise. And every time Danny comes in the house, he's like, "What is that?"
I'm not used to that noise.
It doesn't sound like a
doesn't
washing
sound like
machine.
a washing machine.
It almost sounds like a spaceship taking off or something. I don't know what it is, but it's weird. And I had to get used to it because I've only had it, what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Not, maybe 2 years, but anyway, it's not that old. And Danny's not inside when I'm washing clothes lots of times, but if he happens to come in, he's like, "What do I hear?
Yep.
What is that?" He's trying to figure it out because it's odd to him. So nothing is new. Nothing is the same.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pamela says the sun is cooking everything. Well, I agree with that. Yeah.
And Robin says she hates her gas stove. Even on low, it cooks hot. I don't like cooking on gas. I never have. All my life I've had electric. I think I had a gas cooktop one time, and I burn everything. I could not get used to it, and I'm like, no, never again. And these electric stoves, the one I have now, I told Danny, I said, I just can't get used to it. It either cooks or it don't cook. It's on or it's off. It messes with my brain. So I don't know. You can't just turn it on 4 and cook like you used to. It don't work.
Michigan Lifestyle says they don't agitate right.
No, they don't.
They don't. They just sit there and you hear them go, choo-choo, 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 choo-choo.
That's it.
I'm used to them sitting there going, choo-choo, you know, just steady going like that.
I mean, they barely swerve it before they
Yeah.
wait, and they swerve it back. So you know they're not, if it's, clothes are very dirty, but people don't get dirty anymore.
Right.
You do.
A lot of people, I get filthy. I don't get dirty. I get filthy. But let's see here. I'm missing some questions.
Beverly said that.
We're after 9 o'clock. I didn't even realize that.
She
wow.
said the mobile homes have to have a gas stove because electric is not code for a mobile home. That's really weird.
That's because the older mobile homes had aluminum wiring in them, which I can understand that. But the newer ones, we got electric, and I ordered a mobile home before I built my house here at Deepsouth Homestead. I had one custom built, and it had electric in it. It didn't have any gas in it. So you can have electric in it. It's just you got to make sure that it's not wired with aluminum wire. Let's see here.
Well, it jumped again. A lot of people like gas. And it's according to what you're used to.
It all depends on what you're used to.
I just don't like it because I'm not used to it. But now I go out, I like my grill. I cook on the grill like in the last month, probably almost every day. And it just keeps from heating the house up. Plus, we like cooking on a grill.
Jay Robertson said, Danny, if your soil test came back super low nitrogen and super high potassium and phosphorus, what would you put down as fertilizer? I would put down ammonium sulfate. You can get it in a bag. It's like 36 or 3300. Helicopters are going over outside. Here for the last week or two, about this time of the night, we've had helicopters, I'm talking about right over the top of the trees coming through here. And you may hear it you might even hear it on a video.
Yeah, it's very low.
Tell us if you hear that helicopter on this live stream.
It's right outside the window.
It's right outside the house here.
Yeah, they're saying the washer is not feeling very much. They hear it, yeah.
Yeah.
It went right,
Whoa, look at that.
right over
Wow.
us
Yeah, it went right. This has been going on
this week.
this week. They're right over the top of the house here from wherever we're sitting here. And it's about this time every night.
Well, the deal is we're in between.
We're not close to any military base. We're about
In between three.
we are, let's see, we've got Keesler and
Two.
what's the one up
Camp
north?
Shelby.
Camp Shelby. We're about middle ways between Keesler and Camp Shelby.
Yeah. All right, so we're over.
Okay, we went over our time here, guys.
Now I'm getting sleepy.
It sounds like it's either a Black Hawk or a Chinook. I can tell by the sound of it. He's not a Huey or anything like that.
I hope they ain't spraying nothing. I have a feeling they just doing maneuvers somewhere. Off and on we get one. It's different at times.
Helen said all appliances have Proposition 65. If you live in California, everything causes cancer. It doesn't matter if it's the fender on the front of a car, there'll be a Prop 65 sticker on it. My lawnmowers all have Prop 65 on them. My Kubota tractor has a Prop 65 sticker on it. It doesn't matter. My generators have a Prop 65 on it. My pillow that I lay my head on has Prop 65 on it. I mean, it doesn't matter. In the state of California, everything causes cancer. It's amazing, out of all 50 other states, California is the only one that everything causes cancer in.
All right. Let's see. All right, so we're past our time. Air from oxygen in a tank in California has it.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's
Okay.
see. All right, so we need to.
We need to have our prayer, guys.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot going on in the world. Danny was telling me about a lot of things right before we came.
Yeah,
on,
guys.
and,
I mean, there's a lot of things happening in the world.
Oklahoma, I did remember them.
Nobody's talking about Mexico City. Just a while ago today was hit with 9 inches of snow and ice from hail and stuff. Indonesia's got a volcano going off. I mean, there's all kind of secret meetings right now going on, trying to stop this war in Ukraine. They're trying to actually bring this thing to an end. A lot of the high-arc officials are meeting I'm not going to go into detail about where they're meeting at, but they're meeting, trying to come to some kind of a conclusion about how we can stop this war in Ukraine. Guys, they're trying to arrest Netanyahu, which we knew they were going to do that for war crimes. They're trying to get them to stop the conflict in Rafah. I mean, it's everywhere you look. Solar flares, solar storms are happening. The 33rd parallel through the center of the United States is getting bombarded with weather. The 45th parallel is finding it very difficult to grow anything because of the weather up there. We're down here in the deep south. They're going to go into a drought situation where it's screaming hot, dry. Our hurricanes this year is one of the worst hurricane seasons projected in the last 40 or 50 years. I mean, it's everything. It's everything, guys, is all starting to happen all at once.
And y'all need to be prepared for heat, especially if you're lower. I don't know if maybe the whole United States, but I know down here it's going to be bad, bad, bad this time. It was bad last year.
All I can tell you is if you live on the East Coast or the Gulf of Mexico, you better be watching out.
I can't remember. Do you have any videos on propagating blueberry bushes?
No.
No. Okay. I couldn't remember.
That's
wildfires.
Oh, the wildfires are going to be in the United States
They said
before
Mexico's
long.
got them right now.
Mexico's got them. Canada's got them. The United States is next on line to have out of control wildfires. Matter of fact, the smoke in the United States is going to be almost mind-boggling. It's going to get so bad.
Deepsouth Homestead at gmail.com. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You want to have a prayer for and remember all these people.
Yeah.
And,
Oh man. Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. A lot of things going on in the world tonight, Father. But you know, we don't let it concern us that bad because you promised us that if we belong to you, you're not going to ever leave us and you're not going to ever forsake us. You're going to take care of us. And one way you take care of us is by giving us knowledge ahead of time, because in scriptures you said, I will not do anything lest I first let my people know. Father, and those who pay attention and look, it's out there for your people to know what's coming and what's going to happen, Father. You have watchmen on the wall that's always trying to warn people and tell them about the coming events that's going on in the world so that they can prepare. And Father, by preparing, that's one way we get through these situations without having too much trouble. That's why you sent Joseph ahead of your people into Egypt, so that when the time come for the famines, he could prepare and have grain to feed your people, Father. So it's not a rabbit's foot. It's not just magic. It's not something we can sit down and do nothing and expect you to just take care of us, Father. You have plainly made that clear through scriptures. Father, we think tonight about all the victims from the tornadoes that's gone through our country and ravaged these different towns. Father, there's many of them that need help, and we pray for those people tonight, asking that you'll raise up good people to go in and to give them a helping hand in the areas where they live at, Father. And Lord, we think about Mr. Tom tonight, who's come down with prostate cancer. Father, I lift him up before you. I know a lot of my friends who've had it and lived for many, many, many years afterwards, Father. And I pray for Mr. Tom that you'll help him to be able to find a cure, to be able to get in there and get that taken care of. And for Mr. Buddy, Ms. Lippy's husband, Father, I pray that Mr. Buddy will continue to mend and be able to get his life back in order. Him and Ms. Lippy can enjoy many more years of healthy married life, Father, enjoying life to its fullest now. And many others here tonight that was mentioned, Father, I think about all the subscribers that we have and the people that contact us on a daily basis. And Father, there's so much hurt, so much stuff going on in the world. I'd be here all night if I tried to list everything. But Father, the good thing about you is you're the great physician. You hear all, you know all, nothing takes you by surprise. And Father, that one thing alone right there I am thankful for. And by being omnipresent and omnipotent, Father, I'm just praying that you come down, visit with your people, and Father, heal them of all the issues that we have upon this earth here, Father. Now, some things we don't need healing from. Some things we have to go through so that they help us to understand better what's coming in the future. We understand that, Father. So work and heal in a way that will bless the kingdom of heaven, Father. We come to you tonight and ask that you do forgive us all where we've sinned. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. All right. Okay. I'm scared to close my eyes for too long.
I know.
I'm liable to fall asleep. Oh.
Yeah, Memorial Day's this week.
Monday, yes.
So Memorial Day is to remember those who gave their life.
Those the fallen ones.
Yes. Veterans Day is for those that are still living. Lots of people get both of them confused, but Memorial Day is, and you do remember the ones that are
Yes.
still living, I guess, on Memorial Day too.
I have lost a lot of my friends. Some got themselves killed on a foreign field. Some died when they came home because of what happened on a foreign field and got themselves killed over there and didn't even know it. Especially my Navy SEAL friends. I have, you don't know how bad I miss some of these boys.
They want a tip.
Tip for tonight. Oh, tip for tonight. Guys, there is and I'm going to have to be very careful how I say this now, okay? There is a new variant out there that is beginning to hit certain places on the earth. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but be aware of the letters FLIRT. Be conscious of those letters when you see them, because it is a new variant and it's going to be pushed for a new, you know what, to come. So, just a heads up for those of you who don't know about it. Some of you may already know about it. You know, lots of people don't know about it. But it is out there, and it is striking other countries with a vengeance. And guys, do some research. I'm not advising you either way, okay? I will tell you, do your research and do it diligently, okay? Don't be sucked in to some scam like we was last time. So that I wanted to warn everybody about. If you did not already know, it's out there. And remember the letters FLIRT. Okay. Maybe.
So T-Bear wants to know what's the deal with the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico is going to have a lot of fires in it. Let's just put it that way. And when I say the Gulf of Mexico, I'm talking about from Florida all the way to Texas. There is projected to be a lot of fires in the Gulf of Mexico.
Birds to cows to people.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to get off and get a few things done. I think we're going to try and sit down and do a Q&A, right?
We are going to. We're going to try to sit down, and Wanda and I talked about this today. There's so many things that y'all have asked questions about that we don't really have a lot of time to make videos on. So what we thought we'd do is a Q&A. We're going to try to find the time to sit down and do a Q&A, and we're going to try to see if we can't answer some of the questions that a lot of y'all have had, a lot of comments, why we haven't done this, why we haven't done that, what's going on here, what's going on there.
And it's going to be on Pecan Grove. It'll be Monday if we can get it shot and uploaded tomorrow. It'll be Monday on Pecan Grove. So probably won't be a video on Deep South until porch time Tuesday.
Right.
So we're just trying to level things out, and we'll answer some of those questions on Pecan Grove Monday.
Yeah. We'll try to.
And some things we're just not going to answer.
No, some things, yeah, you're not. Some things, we have to look. This is the bottom line. We have to have our privacy, just like anybody else does. I mean, there's some things about us y'all have never known. There's some things you will never know. Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but I have things in my life I don't discuss. I mean, some things sneak up on you, and that happened to Wanda and I this past week. We had something sneak up on us at one of the stores we went to, and how it happened, I have no clue. Okay, but there's some things that we have that's just private, and we're not.
That should be normal with anybody that's on YouTube. I know a lot of people say. I've heard a lot of YouTubers say we're going to be 100% transparent about everything. I don't think they are, and they can't be, because there's some things that just need to be private. I mean, I wouldn't want to know your whole life story. I mean, to be honest with you, there's things about you I just really would not want to know. So you don't know about everything that we do from day to day. I mean, I don't go into detail on breakfast and lunch and supper and when we go to town every time and what we pick up in town, and if we go to the doctor, if we don't go to the doctor, if we go to a friend's house or somebody comes over or whatever. We don't go into that all the time. Now, we might casually mention something on a live stream, but you don't have to know our intimate life story or something. I may throw a picture up of the grandkids over here or something. But you don't have to know every time they come and what we did and all that stuff. I mean, it's not really important now.
Yeah, I mean, some things I will take to the grave with me, because there's some things that it would do honestly no earthly good for me to talk about, because there's absolutely nothing that I can do about it or you can do about it. Even though I know about it, there's nothing that either one of us can do about it. All it would do is cause more anxiety, more fear, more worry, and cause us to lose sleep, and that is not godly. God would not have me to. Now, if something I think is a true alert that I think that you could do something about, like the FLIRT, then yeah, I'll tell you about that. And solar flares, yeah, I will tell you about solar flares. I'll tell you to get prepared, get ready, protect your home, protect your cars, your vehicles, your farm equipment, whatever you have, protect them. Because that's just the wise thing to do. I mean, everything we've got on our property here has an EMP shield protector on it. You know, did it cost me? It cost me through the wazoo. But you know what? Everything is protected, you know? And that's just good. I mean, people go, well, I don't know if I believe in that. Well, you buy insurance. I mean, it's just insurance. That's all it is. And you may never use your insurance. Some people use their insurance on a regular basis. Some people never use their insurance. You know, I mean, we hope
we never use an EMP
and
shield.
I hope I never have to use an EMP shield. But I can tell you this. Here at Deepsouth, my house got struck twice by lightning. It burned up everything in my house one time. And the second time, it burnt my unit up and my computers up the second time. The third time, I said, you know what? I'm going to have an EMP shield protector on my house, because it has a $25,000 standalone policy with it that would have paid for all that stuff that other things didn't have to pay for. I mean, it's just good, sound wisdom.
How do we get on the EMP shield?
I don't know.
We were supposed to be getting off here.
We were supposed to be getting off. Anyway,
you see how easy it is to get him sidetracked.
you can get me going sometimes. And guys, if I could just talk plainly on here, I'd be on here for hours, you know.
He'd just sit and talk all day.
I would.
And we wouldn't get nothing done.
That's true. Anyway, we got to jump off. It's actually getting late for us now.
Yes, 9:30.
Some of y'all, it's already 10:30 at night, and I apologize for you being up that late. But
It's your fault.
I know it, and that's
Shut
the reason
up.
I apologized.
Shut up.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.